Another day, another story. These people went far beyond sending cards and chocolates to demonstrate their love. From songs and poetry to romantic doorstep cue cards, people have found countless ways to express their love. But some have gone above and beyond. Below are examples of the most grandiose demonstrations of love through history. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. 1. The Taj Mahal. Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned the famed landmark around 1632. It was intended as a tomb for his third wife, Mumtaz Mahal, who died giving birth to the couple's 14th child. According to accounts, the Shah was so despondent after his spouse's passing that he entered a prolonged period of mourning, renouncing music and other forms of entertainment for 2 years. He built the Taj Mahal, with its elaborate minarets, 250-foot-high domed mausoleum and 42-acre grounds, primarily as a monument to her memory. When he died in 1666, Shah Jahan was buried alongside his beloved wife in the Taj's white marble tomb. 2. Wagner's Triebschen Idyll. Best known for rousing pieces of music like Ride of the Valkyries, the composer Richard Wagner might not have a reputation as a hopeless romantic. Still, Wagner is also remembered for secretly composing the symphony, Triebschen Idyll, later renamed Siegfried Idyll, as a present for his wife, Cosima, on her 33rd birthday. On Christmas morning in 1870, Wagner and a 15-piece orchestra quietly assembled on the staircase of his house and woke Cosima by playing the piece, now considered one of his greatest works. Deeply moved, Cosima later wrote in her diary, "When I woke up I heard a sound. It grew ever louder. I could no longer imagine myself in a dream. Music was sounding, and what music." 3. Edward VIII's abdication of the throne. The love lives of Britain's monarchs have long been a source of public fascination, but perhaps the most romantic royal tale of all concerns King Edward VIII, who chose a woman over the throne. Edward became king in 1936 after the death of his father, George V. His brief reign was punctuated by controversy, most notably his infatuation with a socialite named Wallis Simpson. Not only was Simpson an American, she was a married woman who had already once divorced. As gossips portrayed Simpson as everything from a scheming seductress to a German spy, the relationship plunged the monarchy into crisis. Forced to choose between love and crown, Edward abdicated the throne in December 1936. Some scholars have speculated that Edward's Nazi sympathies, rather than his romantic ties, were the true motivation behind the political push for his abdication. Simpson quickly divorced her husband, and she and Edward married in 1937. It was intended as a tomb for his third wife, Mumtaz Mahal, who died giving birth to the couple's 14th child. 4. Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Sonnets for Robert Browning. Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, circa 1850s. Both were prominent poets when they married in 1846. Barrett's book, Sonnets from the Portuguese, was a series of love poems composed when the pair first began their courtship. The marriage of poets Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning is one of literature's great romances, and the couple's love for one another often spilled over into their work. The most famous example came in 1850 with the publication of Barrett's book, Sonnets from the Portuguese, a series of love poems composed when the pair first began their courtship. Barrett only revealed the work to her husband after hearing him rail against the thematic shortcomings of what he called personal poetry. To counter his argument, she admitted that she had once written a series of 44 sonnets about her love for him. Struck by the beauty of the poems, Browning encouraged his wife to publish them. She finally agreed but insisted that they be presented as alleged translations of Portuguese sonnets in order to hide their personal nature. Sonnets from the Portuguese contains what many consider some of Barrett's most exquisite verses and includes the immortal line, "How'd I love thee? Let me count the ways." 5. Horace Greeley's prison camp escapes. World War II prisoner Horace Greeley not only escaped from a prison camp to be with his lover, he did it more than 200 times. A British soldier, Greeley was captured by the Nazis in 1940 and sent to a detention center in Germany. While there he began a passionate affair with Rosa Rauchbach, a German of Jewish descent who was working as a translator. Just as their romance began to blossom, the couple was separated when Grizzly was shipped to a new camp 40 miles away. Desperate to see Rauchbach and too deep in Germany to make a full escape, Grizzly began breaking out of prison up to 4 times a week, trekking to wherever she was working and returning before his absence was noticed. At each meeting, Rauchbach would give Grizzly food and supplies for his fellow soldiers back at the camp. The pair even enlisted the help of other prisoners in the camp to coordinate their trysts, which continued until Grizzly's liberation in 1945. The two attempted to remain in touch, but Rauchbach and a baby possibly fathered by Grizzly died in childbirth shortly after the war. 6. Joe DiMaggio's flowers for Marilyn Monroe. Famed baseball player Joe DiMaggio and actress Marilyn Monroe were only married for a volatile 274 days in 1954, but Joltin' Joe remained infatuated with the legendary blonde bombshell for the rest of his life. It was DiMaggio who secured Monroe's release from a psychiatric ward when she suffered an emotional collapse in the wake of her divorce from playwright Arthur Miller, and he was reportedly considering proposing to her again before her death in 1962. DiMaggio never remarried and refused to comment on Monroe's death to the press. A love written in the sky for years, Ethan and Lily had a love that was as steady as the waves crashing on the shore of their favorite beach. They had met there one summer, their love growing over late-night walks and whispered dreams of forever. Ethan had always been a man of quiet affection, love notes hidden in books, surprise coffee deliveries, holding her hand when no one was watching. But Lily was a dreamer, the kind of woman who believed in grand, cinematic gestures of love. When she was diagnosed with a rare illness, their world shifted. Hospital visits replaced beach walks, and whispered dreams became desperate prayers. Through it all, Ethan never wavered, standing by her side through every appointment, every long night. On their 5th anniversary, knowing Lily longed for one last adventure, Ethan planned something unforgettable. With the help of friends and strangers, he arranged a day at their beach. As they sat on the sand, the sound of the waves surrounding them, a plane soared across the sky, writing in bold letters, "Lily, my forever." Tears streamed down her face as she clutched his hand. "You always knew," she whispered. That day became a memory she held onto for the rest of her life, a testament to love that wasn't just steady but spectacular when it mattered most. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "You always knew," she whispered, her voice trembling with love and gratitude. "I always will," he answered, kissing the top of her head. That night, as they lay together beneath a blanket of stars, Lily whispered, "I don't know how much time I have left, but I know this. You've given me more love than I ever dreamed of." And in that moment, for the first time in a long time, she felt no fear. Because love, real love, was bigger than time. Bigger than illness. Bigger than anything else. And Ethan? He kept his promise. Even when Lily was gone, he carried her in every sunset, in every whisper of the waves, in every quiet moment of love he continued to share with the world. Because love like that never truly ends. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.